Yeah, good evening, everyone. You're welcome to this session of your Introduction to Cybersecurity class. And tonight, I'm just going to introduce myself briefly. I know some of you have met me already, and my name is Patricia Emmanuel. I have uh, I have the mandate to deliver this training to you tonight. And briefly, I have a degree in mathematics and an MSc in information technology. And I have about 16 years experience in the IT industry as a consultant. And 10 years has been really maximally focused in the quality assurance side of things, of software, basically. And the last 5 years has been within the security space. So tonight, I want to introduce you to the basics of networking. I'm sure you might have read about it, or while you were preparing for this class, that you have come across networking. So please follow me as we go on. The idea behind this is to ensure that you get a solid foundation, the solid foundation with networking, because you're really going to need the knowledge as a security analyst. And the direction we are going with this is getting you into the security operations center analyst space, SOC analyst. And that is going to be the focus of the cybersecurity internship that you are signed up on. And of course, you would also be able to use this as a software tester. Yeah. Moving forward, what are the objectives? So tonight, you would be able to understand what networking is and it's important, why it's important in modern technology. You'll be able to learn about different types of network and their functions. You'll be able to explore how networks operate at a fundamental level, and you'll be able to identify key network devices and understand their functions. We'll also discuss, introduce networking models. It's important that you understand them, because when you start to use tools, network monitoring tools like Wireshark, you would need to have the understanding and know I know what these networking models, how they are represented in the tool. And of course, we will go into how networks can be exploited and how to secure them. I want this to be an interactive session, so please feel free to drop your questions into the chat, and let's make this engaging as much as possible. So what is networking? To begin with, networking basically is about how computers and devices connect so that they can share resources and information. So this connection allows devices to exchange data and work together. Networking is a core of digital communication. Anything on the internet, it passes through a network. And why is it important? Why is networking important? It's crucial because it enables communication and data sharing on a global scale. So that is why I can send a message from here to somebody in China. They can receive my message via email. I can send a WhatsApp message to a number in Canada, and they can receive my message. Everything passes through a network. And truly, without networking, we wouldn't have the internet. We wouldn't have online. We wouldn't have the internet, online communication, or the ability to access information so easily. So it's the backbone. I said there, it forms a backbone of modern technology. Moving forward, I would like to ask, can anyone give an example where they have used networking in their daily life? Where have you used networking in your daily life?
Sending emails.
Good. Anyone else? I have mentioned a couple personally. Anyone else? Where have you used networking in your daily life?
To stream videos
Okay,
online.
fantastic. So I have people who are following. Great. All right. Good. So moving on, browsing the internet to find information. We all do that. We go on Google, sending emails. Someone has mentioned that. And these emails, they just go straight to the receiver quickly and efficiently. And what else? Video conferencing. Somebody mentioned streaming videos online, and video conferencing to connect with people, like what we are doing right now. You could see my face if you had the, because I quickly opened up my camera now, you could see my face. And of course, online gaming. If you have teenagers like I do, you know, they're online playing games, and there is a virtual partner somewhere playing game with them. You can see everything happens across network. So you can see that networking truly impacts every part of our connected lives, from work to entertainment, from anything formal, unofficial, informal, whatever term we want to give to it. All right. Thank you very much for that participation. Now, let's look at the key components of a network. We understand what networking is. Let's look at this as building blocks of any network. What does it require? What components are required for a network? If you just want to put all of this into a generic description.
Internet.
Anyone? Internet? Yes, you can. Yeah, great. Yeah. What
Software.
else?
Hardware.
Yeah. There's
You need a switch.
Yeah, good. All right. Great, brilliant. I'm just going to go to the next slide, and you will see where we're going here. So if you don't even remember anything, I'm sure a lot of times when people see images, you tend to remember, it gives you ideas. So any network will require a device, okay? Because the devices are the endpoints in the network. Examples include computers. We have one here. Our smartphones, the servers, the printers, they're all devices. iPads, they're all devices. And every device plays a role in either sending or receiving or processing data. All right. And of course, we have the device. The device will go through a means. You know, the device will make use of a media. Okay. And that is that is where these three come in. We are looking at how data travels between devices. And there are two ways. The data can travel through a physical media, and they can travel through a wireless media. In fact, when I was working on these slides and I was doing my research, it was really interesting to see that being broken down. Because the media, you could say, well, data can travel through different medias, and you just name the media that data can travel through. But breaking it down into physical media, like the Ethernet cables, because Ethernet cables, your fiber optics, those are wired connections. I'm sure we've seen them before. And then through wireless media, and that is where our Wi-Fi or Bluetooth comes, because if you are sharing data from one iPhone to the other, you just need to airdrop it. There's no wired connection happening there. All right. So that is another example. And then we have the network interface. Every device that connects to a network needs a network interface. They call it a network interface cards. And you can have them for wired connections, and you can have them, and you can also have wireless adapters for Wi-Fi. I know that back in the days in Nigeria, then you just get this stick, network stick that you don't need to, you only need, it is mobile, you can take it with you anywhere. You don't need to connect it to any cable. So that's what we're saying here. And of course, we have the protocols. Protocols are the rules that govern the data communication. Everything. Of course, if there are no rules governing a place, an institution, people will do things anyhow. So, and of course, the networking to there are rules, and we call these rules the protocols. So don't ever forget that protocol has R in its spelling. So when you hear protocol, you remember that there are rules. So these rules are what govern the communication, and they ensure that devices can understand each other. When a laptop is talking to a mobile, they understand each other. So in that case, they're ensuring that there's the connection and the communication going between them. The sender understands, and the receiver understands what the sender is giving, and the how and what is being transmitted is, both parties are in sync. Yeah, the major example is a TCP/IP, the protocol suite that powers the internet. I'm sure we are going to get to that. The TCP/IP is a protocol suite, and that powers the internet, everything that goes on the internet. And that goes through a port as well. We're going to get into the discussion about the port. Thank you for participating. And I would like to ask, what is the role of a network interface in a device? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, somebody put in anything in the chat. Okay, Moses says sharing of files. Sharing of files. Okay. Yeah,
I said sharing of information with other devices.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I would accept sharing of information. Of course, you need to connect that. You need to make use of the network interface to allow the devices to connect to a network. So the interface is there as a connector. Okay. So, and it can be it would allow that connection to happen, whether it is through a wired or wireless connection. All right. Thank you for that. Yeah. Moving forward, let's look at the different types of networks. Okay, so these categories here are based on the size of the network and the purpose that it serves. We have the local area network. I'm sure we've heard about the LAN. Well, apologies if this is the first time you are hearing all of these terms, but the LAN is really popular. A LAN covers a small specific area. Yeah, I said that, a small geographic area. It could be an office, a school, your home, where you are right now. Okay, it is the LAN that is being used there. So it allows devices within this limited range to share resources easily. You know, somebody is upstairs, I'm downstairs, everything within the home. It is the LAN. The LAN covers that. Your office computers that are connected to a printer. That's another example. Your office is a local area network. So the computers there are connected to a printer or a file server. Then the wide area network. This is a network that it spans a larger area compared to the LAN, and it's potentially connecting devices across cities or countries. Yeah, yeah. So, and of course, the internet itself is the largest one. You understand? Internet is the largest wide area network. If you want to give an example, all right, because what the internet does, it connects the internet connects networks globally. All right, connect network globally. So that is an example. It connects millions of networks worldwide. We have the wireless local area network, and this is similar to a local area network, the LAN, but it uses wireless technology to connect devices within a limited area. Is owned and managed by a single organization or entity. So here we are looking at at an organization that have their wireless local wireless LAN that is being used by only their organization, that nobody else can use it. Oh, and that kind of network in the organization's intranet would be an example. All right, because you only need to be within that organization to be able to access their intranet. How many people have intranet in their workplace here? If you do, so that's what we're talking about. Then we have the virtual private network. So this uses a public telecommunication infrastructure. So on its own, it is commonly used it is commonly used as a secure medium, all right, for remote workers. You know, as an IT professional, you tend to have times where you work from home, and if you have been working from home forever like me, you know, yeah, to create a secure connection through a public network or through your own local network, you want to connect to through a VPN to your office network. So that is what it's about. And of course, there's one more. I didn't remember to put it here. Personal area network is a very small network, is limited to the range around that individual. It connects your personal devices for short range communication. And of course, we know what that is, your Bluetooth connection between your smartphone and your wireless headphone. you know. So it's yeah, it's really interesting to know that. So I want to ask, why might someone use a VPN when working remotely? Why? Anyone? You're working remotely. Why? What would make you use a VPN when working remotely? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone?
For security,
yes. Brilliant.
VPN. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you are right. The VPN provides extra security. It ensures that data is encrypted so your local device is masked. So what you connect is a VPN, whatever connects to whatever, if it's a wireless, if it's a public network, so your VPN, your local machine is masked, so the IP address is not seen. Is the IP address of your VPN that is visible to any wireless network. And of course, for you, I think I have another question following that. And then when you're using it for your remote work, is to ensure that you are connecting securely to your organization's network. And then you are protecting yourself from being attacked, from potential attackers, from being attacked through an unsecured network. Thank you for that. I think I've answered this question myself before I when I was responding. So this one says, why might someone use a VPN when connected to public Wi-Fi? So this is one that we have to be careful. You know, sometimes you go to McDonald's and we are connected to public Wi-Fi, or we are at the airport, we are connected to public Wi-Fi. We have to be mindful of all this. The VPN will provide extra security for you, and you are protecting yourself from potential attackers in an unsecured network. I think when James comes, you will be able to meet James. He's an external consultant. During when we start to have more of an hands-on session. So I think there was an incident that he was sharing with the cohort before you, where one of the management went on holiday and they used a public Wi-Fi without using a VPN, and unknown to them, an attacker had gained access to the organization's network, and it was an attack. It was an attack that was not even detected on time. So we'll get to all those kind of malicious attacks that could happen, and you see what we're talking about. Yeah. Now let's explore the network devices that make up a network. We have, of course, every device plays a unique role on how information flows, and how they stay secured. Every information plays a unique role. And look at the hub, for example. The hub connects multiple devices in a network, and they are wired devices. They are not as smart as switches and routers, and they basically broadcast data to all devices. That's an example. Can you see an example here? I managed to get something visual so you can see what it looks like. That's a hub, and these are different devices. They just broadcast all the data to all the devices that they are connected to. Unlike a switch is more intelligent. So it's called a switch an intelligent hub. They are wired devices, and they know the addresses of the devices connected to them, and they direct traffic to that port. So the switch is like an upgraded hub. It sends It connects the device, but it sends data only to the intended recipient. Okay, they don't just broadcast like a hub. The target, this approach makes for that the switch use makes it more efficient, and what consequently, if you look at it logically, it will reduce unnecessary network traffic. Whatever traffic that is not needed, that the hub is just taking in and distributing, the switch doesn't do that. So those are you can see the unique ways that they work. Now we have the router. The router is like your sat nav, all right? The router determines the most efficient direction for the traffic to flow across the network. So the router, of course, connects different networks. The router will connect your home network to the internet, all right? You have an internet provider, all right? And the work of the router is to connect that network in your home to the internet, and they direct data packets based on the IP addresses and guide the, of course, because the router wants you to go through the most efficient direction, they guide the data packets to the correct destination. They are smarter than hubs are. So if you're talking about smart, smarter, smartest, all right, they can be wired or wireless as well. And I've talked about them connecting different networks. Now, a quick question. What's the main difference between a hub and a switch? Anyone? Hub and a switch, what's the difference between a hub and a switch?
I think a switch is way better than a hub, like it's a smart hub.
Yeah, a switch is a smart hub. Okay, then what is a hub? Give me the
Let me
response
try.
with respect to,
Hub
yeah, give me the
transfers data
response. Okay,
to
okay, I'm listening.
to transfer data to intended devices, if I'm correct.
Hub.
No, up
Look, it's the
broadcast
other way around.
information to all devices, even those that are intended for. Why switch broadcast to only those needed to send it to?
Fantastic. Okay, let me tell you the way you would remember again. When you say hub, remember all devices. Okay, hub, all devices, as long as it's connected to them. And when you switch, that I there reminds me that to intended devices. All right. Okay. And the switch is an intelligent hub, of course, and it sends data only to the intended device and is more efficient. Thank you for that. Good. I'm glad everyone is following. And of course, we have the server. We are not stopping at that 3. So what is a server? Your server is a computer system or a software program that provides services. It provides services, it provides resources or data to other computers or devices on the network. Now, when you start to join the cloud training, you will understand how your server can be a software program. You understand it more. So I would say if you were not in the first class, go back and watch the replay of that class over so you have a better understanding. I'm sure you've heard about software that provides services, platforms that provide services, resources, or data. So that is where you would get that understanding from what your server can be or can do. And of course, we have an endpoint. Your endpoint refers to a device that serves as a point of access to a network or communication system. What are we saying there? Any device that connects to the network. Your computer is an endpoint, your smartphone, even anything Internet of Things devices like the smart home appliances, anything Internet of Things is an endpoint, and that is mostly where the entry point is for most attacks, most malicious attacks from the bad actors. And of course, we have Ethernet. This is a widely used standard for wired local areas. So the Ethernet is a technology that is used for wired networks. We saw an example earlier, I think on the second slide or so, when I was trying to explain the components of a network. And so that covers the LAN and of course, any metropolitan area network. That's called the MAN, and it defines the physical and data link layer of the OSI model for network communication. We're going to get to the layers within the OSI model. So yeah, we are going somewhere here with all this. So this is us laying the foundation. And of course, we've heard of firewalls. How many of us have seen have you heard of firewalls? So for a firewall is a security device, is a security tool. Okay. What the firewall does is that it monitors the traffic and it controls any incoming and outgoing network traffic. Like it filters, is able to identify any traffic that is not permitted in a network based on a set of rules. And these rules have to be defined. It has to be defined. If you go into your laptop or your computer device, if you go into the control panel and you go into the security, into the security and settings, if you click on it, if there's time, I'm just going to walk maybe one of you through so you can actually see the firewall on your device. So the same way within a network, we have firewalls in a device. We have firewalls in the network as a device in the network. All right. Okay. Let's explore network protocols. So what is a network protocol? It's an established set of rules that determine how data is transmitted between different devices in the same network. Please note that how data is being transmitted. You know, we talked earlier, I mentioned TCP IP protocol, all right? So, and of course, it allows connected devices. Your computer is connected to your router is connected to your computer is connected to your router allows information to be transmitted to all the devices in your house. So it's a protocol. The TCP/IP is a protocol that allows anything to go on the internet. All right. So it connects devices to communicate with each other, regardless of any differences in their internal processes, structure, or design. And of course, we have these examples here. This TCP/IP is in full is a transmission control protocol. So it controls the how, it controls how data is transmitted, and it's also called the Internet Protocol. And of course, it's the core protocol for these core protocols for internet communication. Anything internet communication, just remember TCP IP protocols, okay? And we also have the HTTP and HTTPS protocols. They are used, these are protocols for accessing websites, all right? So we have websites on the internet and we have other things that we want to, other resources that we want to engage on the internet. You know, we want to use apps, we want to use emails, we want to transfer files. All right. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. And then we also have the DNS. That's the domain name system. Okay. What the DNS does is to translate our www.patemmanuel.com into an IP address. All right, www.wale.com into an IP address. And if this DNS didn't exist, all of us will always just have to remember the domain name by their IP addresses. Come on, tell me, how many numbers do we want to put in our memories? All right. So that's what the domain name system does. We have the FTP. I mentioned that. I said we have different protocols. This one transfer files between client and server. I remember back in the days when I was working in the bank, I mean, just before 4 p.m. every day, any kind of transfer, some international payments that happens on the day before 4 p.m., I have to send it through the FTP server. I have to send it through the FTP server because it gets processed in Ghana. Okay, gets processed in Ghana, and Ghana does their bits. Some they goes to Chennai in India, they do their bit, and then by the following morning, I'm getting some sort of confirmation back. You know, so these are network protocols that you also need to know about. And of course, I would ask the question, so what protocol is typically used for secure web traffic and what port does it use?
TCP and 443.
Okay, I will take I will take the TCP. I will take the 443, but I'm looking for
Oh,
a
sorry,
particular.
HTTPS.
Yeah, yes, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm looking for the protocol that is used on the web. I'm not talking about internet. You want to access a web site. Anyone? Okay. All right.
HTTP or HTTPS?
Okay, which one is used for secure? Both are used for web.
HTTPS.
Yeah, which one is secure?
HTTPS.
All right. And what port does it use?
443.
All right. Brilliant. So I was looking out for that. Thank you for that. Good. All right. Let's look at ports and protocols so that we know the difference. Okay. Now, yeah, I think we've still got time, 9:30. All right. The ports have got numerical addresses on the device. And they are used to direct traffic to a specific application or services. That's a port. And the protocols, what do? They are the defined rules, protocols. You know, like I'm sure we've been to occasions or events where they say we have protocol officer, you know. So they ensure that you are obeying the rules. So the protocols have the defined rules and standards for transmitting data between devices. And an example is a TCP/IP protocol. Okay? And we mentioned earlier when I asked about what protocol, what port number ensures secure traffic in the web. And you said HTTP as HTTP. I said secure. So what makes the difference is the secure. The moment you say secure, we are talking about HTTPS. HTTP is for standard web traffic, which is open, is like this, any web that use this website traffic that use this way, is just say, welcome, come and attack me, because this is not a secure port. So the port is linked to, the port is a numerical, address. The port is a numerical address. All right. And we have port 80 for HTTP, 443 for HTTPS for secure and encrypted web traffic. So even HTTP and HTTPS, they are protocols, they still engage the TCP/IP protocol, because the TCP/IP protocol controls everything on the internet. So, well, in my understanding, when I'm trying to teach this or break it down, this for me is like the superset of this, because this engages what this wants to provide. All right, good. Then to clarify the differences, ports specify where the data should go, because there's an address. Okay, and the protocols specify how the data should be handled. All right. Okay, let's see, do we have any question? Okay, I didn't put any question here for you. All right, brilliant. So we'll move on to learn about why network security is important. And to understand the why, we actually need to know how networks operate. I'll go through this quickly so that we can move on for those who have other classes. So I'll focus on how networks operate right now, and just please, let's pay attention. Of course, when you hear the question, how network operates, remember data transmission and address. There's a transmission of information, and addresses are required. Okay, so what is a data packet? Imagine if you have a big puzzle, like somebody gave you a gift and it's a puzzle. Instead of sending it all at once, instead of, putting all the puzzle together all at once, you break it down into smaller pieces, and you, let's say, okay, you want to send somebody a puzzle. Let's describe it now. You want to send somebody a puzzle as a gift, and you don't want to send it at once because it's a puzzle. So you break it down into smaller pieces, and you start to send them each puzzle pieces separately. Of course, you actually want them to work hard. That's why you're not sending that box of puzzles at one go. So they are looking forward to receiving the puzzle pieces from you. So each of these puzzle pieces that you are sending separately, look at them as packets. So in data transmission within a network, the data is broken into packets. And each of these packets travel through the network to their destination. And when they get to their destination, of course, everything can now be reassembled into the original data. All right. I'm the one that has the whole full picture of that puzzle, but I want somebody else to solve it. So I'm sending it to them in pieces. So that's how the data transmission works in a network. They travel in packets. All right. Data transmission in the network travel in packets. But then we have when they're traveling, we look at each packet travels independently, all right, and it will go to the destination that is being sent into. Sometimes you can have a packet from the same file and it could take a different route to get there if the route is shorter, okay, or faster, you know, and depending, and what can make it shorter is that if there is a network congestion at available parts, of course, it will take another route. So there is flexibility in the routing, and it helps the data to get delivered, even when there is traffic, you know, there's congestion or traffic is not available, it still goes through other routes. So that happens within networks when data is being transmitted. Then the final one is a reassembling. So when these packets reach their destination, they are reassembled back into the original form, into the whole puzzle, that piece, that has been broken down. And the reassembling process ensures that the pieces, when they arrive, they fit together correctly. Of course, if you've done puzzle, you have to ensure that they need to fit together correctly. So when you put it back, you get the whole picture of the original data or message. I hope I've done justice to that explanation. So then the addressing part of it is that when the data are being transmitted, they are going to a destination, and that destination needs to have an address, like an IP address. So these are the logical addresses that the packets understand, okay, to go to. They help data reach the correct network device, because every device has an IP address, of course, and this is what an IP address looks like, in octets. So this is 192.168.1.1. All right. So, and we also have MAC address. Every device has a unique MAC address. Any physical hardware has a unique MAC address. So within the network, when there is a transmission of data going on, the MAC address helps it to identify the device that is going into within a local network. And MAC address usually have something looking like this that you can see on my screen. I want to ask a question. Why are IP addresses important in networking? Do we have answers in the... Yeah, you can drop your answers in the chat, or you can unmute and speak. Why are IP addresses important in networking?
I think it's IP address is important for networking, because that is how each computer know each other. Like, for instance, if a computer wants to communicate, the only way they identify themselves on the internet is through their IP address.
Good. Fantastic. Thank you for that response. Does anyone else want to say any other thing? Okay, good. Thank you so much. They're important in networking because every the data that is being transmitted needs to know the address that it's going into. Needs to be, every device needs to have their a unique number that they can be identified with. Yes, quickly we go into the OSI model. If you've seen this before, fantastic. If you're seeing it for the first time, there's nothing complex or complicated about it. I'm just going to explain this briefly. So the OSI model is a conceptual model. It has 7 layers, and we have the physical layer, which is the foundation of the model, and it handles, physical connection between devices, basically. We have the data link layer. That's the second layer, is responsible for ensuring error-free connection between two devices in the network. It just think of it as a layer that ensures that data can be safely passed within a local network. Yeah. So it ensures safe passage of data. And we have the network layer. This handles the routing, and this uses protocols like the internet protocol. Uses and it ensures that data packets go to their correct destination. We have the transport layer. The transport layer, this layer provides reliable data transfer. It makes sure data arrives in the right order and without any error. We have the session layer. So the connection between devices, this is what the session does. It manages the connection between devices. So the session layer, let me explain a bit, because for those that are doing software testing, it's a session layer that keeps track of your connection to a web application, for example. Is a session layer that helps you know you are authenticated and active. For example, you've logged into an application and maybe after 5 minutes it times out. You understand? So it's a session layer that is doing all this work. Then we have a presentation layer. The presentation layer is like a translator. It's translating the data, the formatting and encoded so it can be properly interpreted in the application layer. So everything, encryption and whatever, the presentation layer works on that, interprets it, and ensuring that the encrypted data is secured, and then it does interpretation where it is, where you and I interact. Like I'm interacting on Zoom now. I'm interacting on my computer, I'm able to interact on the application layer. Okay. I think, yeah, that is done. So can somebody name a layer in the OSI model and tell us what it does? I've done that just now. Who is following? Who is following? Who is following? Yeah, I'm showing my face now. Who is following? Anyone following?
Mr. Moses just gave us an idea how to cram the whole 7 layers.
Fantastic. I love this class.
So
Please do not throw my
is,
pizza away.
yeah.
Okay, how does that work? Tell me.
So
Presentation layer, physical layer,
presentation, then
data layer,
network, yeah,
transport
transport.
layer,
The pizza is for presentation, while the away should be for application.
Oh, thank you. So please do not throw my pizza away. Well done. Thank you.
One is missing. Session is missing, ma'am.
Yeah,
Oh, session is missing.
yeah, please do not throw my sweet pizza away.
Sweet
Will that
pizza
help?
away.
Please do not throw my sweet pizza away. Thank you so much. I love this class. Please do not throw my sweet pizza away. That's the 7 layers of the OSI model. And what can somebody just tell us what one of those layers does? Which one jumps at you easily? Because these are interview questions as well. You could get, a question or two. Anyone? How about the session layer? I just did that example. The session,
Regarding
yeah,
the session area, the session,
yeah.
as you just explained, if I can still remember, this is the section. I mean, you said especially for QA, so you try to lay more emphasis on it. That this is a section that determines how long you be on the section, like maybe just 5-10 minutes section, and before you know it, the thing is off.
All
I don't
right.
know, maybe I tried.
Yeah, you tried, to be honest, because one of the things that you'll be reporting as a QA sometimes is say, oh, there's a session timeout within a minute or 2 minutes after the user has logged out. And depending on the kind of application you're building, would that be a safe requirement, or would that be a good user experience? You understand? So is a session layer that works on that side of things. But of course, you are seeing the website on the application layer. Do you understand? Yeah. All right. Brilliant. I think the number has increased now. I thought some people wanted to go for the QA. So I'm sure you can meet them in the class. They would record earlier, but it would be good that we finish this, because I don't want us to keep moving the class on and on. So brilliant. Thank you for that. Let me quickly go to, yeah, I wanted to show you this. I picked this up from imperva.com. So these are the 7 layers of the OSI model. You have the physical layer, data link layer, network layer, and this just briefly explains everything. Transmits raw bit stream over the physical medium. And of course, you can see the transport layer. Yeah, I didn't talk about the TCP and the UDP. One transmits, one does the streaming of video, and one does for audio transmission, and it does it quicker than the other. Then we have, the session layer maintains connection and is responsible for controlling ports and session. So I said it's responsible for controlling the sessions that you experience when you log in as a user on the application, at the application layer, and you're wondering how long it takes the application to stay before it times out. Okay, yeah. Now we have the TCP IP model. Of course, TCP/IP is a protocol, of course, but this is the internet model. And this is the modern day model that is just global and widely used. And we have 4 layers here. We have the network access layer, we have the internet layer, we have the transport layer, and we have the application layer. Let's take a look at this. Can you see how the OSI model and the TCP IP model, can you see how they have been aligned together? Does anyone have any any mnemonic for us here? The first one is, please don't throw my sweet pizza away. So what would you put in for this one? Right. So as you can see, the network access layer. So this is the lowest layer of the TCP/IP model, and is responsible for the actual physical connection. You know, when we were talking about the physical layer, we say it was responsible for the physical connection. But don't forget that this network access layer now it now takes into consideration the data link layer as well. So it includes both both the hardware and the protocols that handle data at the link level. So excuse me. So that is what we have here. Then we have the internet layer, is responsible for routing data packets across the different networks. The internet layer, and that is your network layer on the OSI model. It is the internet layer on the TCP IP model. So no matter where you are in the world, you can your information can travel from your device to another device. Is the internet protocol that allows that it assigns addresses to devices and helps to move the packets to the correct destination. And the transport layer still does the same work. All right. And we also have the application layer that is taking into consideration everything, all the first three, the top three. And the way to remember the top three at the OSI model is the application layer for TCP IP model. And look at the protocol suites that it engages. See, HTTP, SMTP, Telnet, FTP, DNS, RIP, SNMP, and there are more. They all have their port numbers. Of course, they all have their port numbers. Every single, sorry, what have I done here? 1 second. Yeah. So every of these protocols suite have their port numbers. And yeah, did I put a question in for you? Yeah. How many layers are the TCP IP model? Can you name them? How many layers are the TCP IP model?
There are 4 layers.
Okay, name them.
We have the internet, we have the transport, we have the application, and the presentation.
Okay. Let's so that is what it looks like. If you can, I don't know, if you want to take a screenshot of this so that you would always remember this image, all right, so that when you're even reading it or you've gone away to do your own research as well. I just found that for me, this was like the best image. I felt, yeah, I need to take this image and share it. Yeah, so that is that's it for these models. Of course, you can always read up about them. I'll do a quick recap here. I think the time is fast spent. I don't want to keep you for longer, so you can go on into the next class. So, what have we talked about? We've talked about networking as a connection for devices, for data resource sharing. We've talked about the types of network. We've talked about the OSI models. We've talked about OSI model and the TCP/IP model. Understanding how data flows. Of course, data is information here. We've talked about common protocols. We've talked about ports and protocols as well. We've talked about port numbers, and we also went into how the network operates. I think what I'm hoping that you can, if you've watched the previous video and you're in this class now, it's not rocket science. I hope it's clearer to you, and we want you to be back for the next class. So what would you expect next session? We will go into, so we've covered this, how networks operate. We'll go into how networks can be exploited. Now, we are now looking into network security, because we need to understand that, and then how to secure them. And of course, I'm hoping that the time will be enough for us so that we can go into the Wireshark tool. Is an open source tool and we can explore network. We can see network packets in action. All right. We can see network packets in action, and everything will start making sense to us. Then if we can touch on what to on the web application as well. What should you consider from a security mindset point of view? So you are not just a tester or a QA who's just clicking and confirming if a button works, if a validation is showing, if the acceptance criteria is met for functional requirements, but also for security requirements. And yeah, we'll go into that, and I will just end the class now. I hope this has been I hope this has been a good and informative class. Thank you. Any questions in the chat? Do we have any question in the chat? Or do we have any question generally from what has been taught tonight? All right. Okay, Moses, I can see. When is our next class? Please reach out to Wumi. She's going to send out the schedule to you. For me, I am available on Saturdays this time to teach. And I think, of course, when our external consultant is coming in, James is available on Saturdays as well. So if you're going to be having any class during the week apart from Saturdays, Wumi will be able to schedule that. And yeah, that is it. Any other question? You're going to enjoy this training. And please, when you're writing your report for what you've done, because in your individual team, you're going to be writing weekly reports too. Please make sure you are putting what you've learned as well into your reports. And when you've actually done some hands-on or or use the tool, you need to document all of that too as well. You tell your Scrum Master to create your security-related story for you. Okay. Wale, you have a question.
Yes, thank you very much. Regarding, just to buttress the point, I mean, this question of when is our next class?
Yeah.
Because honestly speaking, I'm just being blunt on this. We feel like we are behind. I don't know, maybe because I watched previous videos, honestly, even before the start of this internship. Yeah, I watch previous videos and I can see how the external bodies you just mentioned now, Mr. James Akimbame.
Yeah.
So all those things really showed me that it's a practical, practical class. So for now, the way I'm just feeling is like maybe we are behind because the section is already almost gone. So please, if you can try and as much as possible to carry us along between the week as well, apart from Saturday, because I'm connecting from Abu Dhabi right now. It's already 1 a.m., almost 2 a.m. Okay.
Okay.
So just for us to at least to feel among and to be able to get some other things, because it's not by only theory but by practical. Even Wireshark, I've downloaded it on my system just for me to at least to do some things, but we still need, even for the fact that I downloaded this and I'm trying it, I still need some help. So that is why I'm just pleading to you to help us find means, maybe during the week as well.
Okay, fantastic. So the training for these cohorts, all right. That's why I sent you the videos to watch. The plan is to ensure that As I'm sending the videos, you're watching the videos, and when you are stuck on anything, you engage in the community. You understand? Because you have your buddies in the community as well. You're engaged in the community. That's the where the the cybersecurity guild. That is where Wumi has dropped that training tonight. So the idea is to watch these videos on a weekly basis. And any video that you've watched, that's why I said, as have people been watching these videos? Because we are not going to have the external consultant coming in all the time. If you want to have the external consultant coming in all the time, we have to be ready to pay. You understand? To pay as much as external consultants collect. Of course, you know that BlueSky Citadel, we are not here for profit. So whatever you are doing right now, all you need to do is engage in the group, of course. And when we have the external consultant, you are not behind on anything, I can assure you. And whatever you're watching now is, maybe you're watching the first cohort. If you look at the second cohort of a training, it was at another level. Okay. Now, but we are staying within the context of training you to become SOC analysts. All right. And you are going to get to that point. All right. Don't feel that you are behind or anything at all. The training next week when we come in, we'll go straight into how to secure a network and the tools that you can use. You're going to have the bodies on the call and all that. Is either we are using the weekday for Anton or the weekend for Anton. But we need to speak with I'll speak with Wumi to look into the schedule on what can be done, because the Anton side of things that you need to do is meant to be a group hands-on work where you are doing your hands-on work, and you have myself, you have James, you have the other guys who are your buddies right now, who can help you with whatever your challenge you're having. It's when you are doing something, and I'm going to say this as well, even at the workplace, yeah, and if you are struggling, you have a community, you put it there. Has anyone done this before? I am stuck here. Then you do a screenshot and you put it in there. That is what the community is for. You understand? And I will tell you, from my experience, cybersecurity analyst, I will tell you, you need to engage more and read a lot more than whatever you are getting at any training. Honestly, because that is how you learn more. And I'm going to send you a link where you can register, because it's the guys in advanced team that have access to the labs that we're using right now, because we've subscribed to a lab, so that whatever you're doing here, you can also go into the lab. But if you have to go in there and make that get access to the lab yourself, sometimes you can be on the lab for hours, for days, and you are not making any progress. So the lab work is done cooperatively, and then when it's done, you can go back and do the lab on your own to build your confidence. We have the labs on Sundays. All right. So if you've registered originally for cybersecurity as your major, please feel free to join us on Sunday 6 p.m. for the labs. These labs will be the labs that you are meant to work on as a SOC analyst. I hope that is clear. Good. Yeah.
Yes, thank you
Don't
very
worry.
much.
Yeah, I'm looking out for all of you. Don't worry, you're not behind on anything. But I will just say, please watch those videos. Whatever you can try on your own, try it. Do you understand? I will tell you, most of the things that you know will be what you've tried on your own. You failed at it. You've asked for help. You've gone back to do it. And what you've done corporately when you are discussing with people. That's how you get in and, you start to build your confidence and do your own build your own career development plan. All right, please, I'm begging everyone, make sure you are watching those videos. Make sure you're watching those videos. I think one of the videos, there was a local where you have to set up a lab locally. But the core that we did after, we didn't do the local setup. Those cores had the opportunity to go and watch that local setup to do it, because nobody really does that local setup out there anymore. They use the cloud, all right? So either we gave them the exposure just so that they know that this is there, all right? And yeah, if you happen to finish all of this and you come into the advanced class, you'll see a lot more that we are doing. But you're welcome on Sundays. I'll put the link for you to join on Sundays so that you can start to work on the labs. Well, I think I'll look for what you can start doing in the labs right now, because I think majority of the works that we did in the lab were on the same tools. We're on the same tools. There are other things that you can do on your own, and you can start building your knowledge base in that area. And of course, if you want to write certification exam, I would recommend Security Plus. And I can always guide you. If you join on Sunday as well, I will guide you on how to go about it so that you are up and doing and ready for the market with everything you're learning here on the platform. And that is me for tonight, everyone.